All right, this video is about how to buy a home remotely online. Derek Evans here, joined by Vinny Enriquez. What's up, Vinny?
How's it going, guys? As you can see, Photoshop in the picture over there.
Very, very nice. We have very nice photos there. Yeah, there's a comparison going on here that people are like, same guys. So this is designed to give you the most successful way to buy a home without being there physically in person, which will happen for people who are transplanting here, who are getting relocated here, for people who are in the military getting PCS. A lot of times this happens more often than you would think, that someone's going to actually buy a home and not have seen it physically. So how do you do that? If you're in a situation where do you have to just rent? No, you don't. You can buy a home remotely online, and that's what we're going to go through and show you today. So let's run through the steps here, and we're just going to go one by one all the way through this whole process. So step one is, as with any home purchase, you always want to determine your budget first. You want to know what you're looking at, what you're looking for. Make sure that it's something that you can afford, something that you obviously qualify for as well. So the first thing we would do is set up a Zoom just like this, where myself, Vinny, would chat with you, go through your goals. What's the ideal scenario? Let's shoot for the gold. Let's go for the gold. I mean, if we have a situation where we're buying remotely, let's shoot for the stars, and then we'll let the market talk to us from there. But let's make sure we're all on the same page about what that is. So that's very, very important, step one.
What if they don't know how to use Zoom? Are you able to walk them through that?
Yeah. So the great thing about this platform and being able to do a call like this is that we can send you a link. You click on the link, it takes you right here. So you don't have to do anything crazy in order to do it. You can also just call in if you don't want to be on video. Some people don't like video. You can just call into the Zoom. You would see me and Vinny here, and then yours would just be a blank one, and you would just be talking to us, which is also totally fine. But you could see everything that we are presenting if you wanted to do it that way too. So there's multiple ways to do it, but it is not difficult. Thanks, Vinny. So when you are ready to apply for financings, we've determined your budget. You said, okay, I can afford $2,500 a month. That's where I want to keep it. We've given you an idea of what that looks like budget-wise. Now we need to make sure that you can qualify for it, that you can get the money from the bank, and that's where I come in. So at my website, derekevans.com, you're going to have two options there. You're going to see buy a home and refinance. And you can do this on your phone, or you can do this on your desktop. Either way, it's going to look very, very similar. I've shown the phone on the left side here, the desktop version on the right. In both cases, you'll just click on buy a home if you're looking to buy a home. Obviously, refinance if you're looking to refinance, but in this case, buy a home will take you to the questions. It'll just pop up the questions. They will come up one by one. You'll answer them until it says application complete. So it's very, very simple. At the end of that application, it will ask you to upload your documents. And so it'll give you a checklist and say, okay, here's where we need W-2s, here's where we need pay stubs. You can actually upload them directly from your phone if you have screenshots or if you have PDFs from a website, or you can do it from your computer as well. You can upload right in there directly. It's secure. It comes to me through the back end, not through an email, but directly onto our server. So at this point, we'll have your application, we'll have your information, we'll be able to make sure that you qualify for the budget that you're looking for. So quick tip here, Vinny. Be sure to shop within your budget. So this will happen frequently, as you know. You may say, hey, I want $2,500 a month, which equates to, let's call it, $450,000 in purchase price, but I may qualify you for $550,000 or $600,000. So just be careful about shopping within your budget. Make sure that you're trying to stick as close to that as possible in the beginning stages, because you don't want that to get away from you in the early stages, especially.
One thing that I see happen all the time, and you probably see the same thing, Derek, is someone has a monthly payment right now about $2,000, and they go, I can feel comfortable at $2,000, but they're approved for, they feel that they can go up to like $2,200 or $2,300. They go, it's only an extra $300. We'll just stop eating out every weekend. It's one thing to think it, and it's one thing to do it. So really feel like what it's going to feel like maybe for a month or 2 months beforehand, then make the transition to that purchase price.
Yeah. And there's always, sometimes you will find the perfect home, and you qualify for it, but it's a little bit out of your budget. And if something like that happens, then we can look at ways to strategize on the financing side to keep your overall total costs down, whether that's paying off another small loan or refinancing a car, or doing something to help make sure that your cash flow is in a good position for you. So that's a very important part. All right, Vinny, step two, we're going to actually be looking at properties. And this is a really important piece of the puzzle. So I'm going to go ahead and hand the screen over to you, buddy.
Seamless transition right there, Derek.
Seamless. Beautiful. Like we know what we're doing here.
Now I have control. All right, so looking at properties, home search, right? So you're approved now. You know what you feel comfortable at. Today, ready to go out there. Well, digitally go out there. So the platforms that we're going to use, if you want to use it on your own, on the right side, you're going to see, you can go to the enriquezgroup.com and search properties. Really easy to use. Go onto the website, buy San Diego, and you'll put your search in there, and boom, it'll be really easy to find properties that way.
So Vinny, am I looking just at pictures with this now, or are there, there used to be virtual tours, which were really just slideshows, of photos and stuff. And now there seem to be more three-dimensional versions
Yeah,
of that.
yeah, based off the property, and so there are, like you said, virtual tours and then 3D tours. So the 3D tours, actually, you can walk the property, and I'll show you a couple of those of actually getting in there to assess the property. But the 3D tours, you're walking in there. Not all properties have them, but some properties do. Based off of the properties, I can send some stuff over to you. Usually, the detached properties are having those if they at least have maybe 1,200 square feet or more. The ones that have less than 1,200 square feet more, it's more of a long shot. Like I just looked for a client yesterday. They're looking at 38 condos. 5 of them had 3D tours. So
there aren't as many of the 3D tours available, but that is something that's possible. Because if I'm looking at properties with pictures, I can get somewhat of a feel, but sometimes it's hard to figure out how does that room connect to that one. And are you able to get layouts if someone's really interested in a property? Is that something that's readily available?
yeah, I mean, again, it's based on the property. I mean, so in real estate, you have 2 sides. You have this person that's trying to sell the property and the person that's working on you on buying the property. The tools that the agent puts for selling the property sometimes are not on par with other agents out there. So some will have the layout, some won't have the layout. But don't worry, if there's a property that you have interest in, myself or my team will be able to get out there. And again, we'll go through the slide right there, but walk you through it. So like we're doing the Zoom right here, we can do it remotely. So we'll do the Zoom or Facebook Messenger and actually walk through the property. We'll have our camera right there walking you through like you're walking it through. You'll say, hey, let's turn left, let's turn right. So you get a real feel of that property.
Cool.
Right? On the left side, you'll see with our help. So just give myself a call, 858-345-7829, and kind of we can dissect. We'll do that buyer seminar, buyer consultation, like Derek talked about already, where we do the Zoom meeting. Figure out what you're looking for. I'll compile properties through Paragon. It's our multiple listing service here in San Diego, and dive deeper into the properties you're looking for.
Perfect. Okay.
So now Derek is an A student. I can only imagine in college and high school. That's why he knew what the next slide was going to be when you go to showings. Okay, so we found the properties that we have interest in. The 3D tours. All right. So the 3D tours, as you kind of see from the pitch right here, well, you can get inside it, walk to the patio, living room, hallway, dining room, and with a click of a button, you're walking through the house. Now, not all properties have them, but at least gives you some kind of insight into the properties that do. And don't worry, as we kind of move forward, I can walk you through the properties that do and they don't.
What is it that
and then in person. So let's say that property doesn't have it. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, when I'm looking at properties with photos, a lot of times, me personally, at least, when I can tell pretty quickly. Like I look at 4 or 5 photos and it's speaking my language.
Yeah.
Like, man, this looks like one that, we need to investigate. Like if I'm looking, it's sort of like sorting the mail, right? You get the mail, you can say, okay, this one goes in the trash, need to open that one, see what's in there. And that's kind of how it is with properties too, right? You look at the photos, within 4 or 5 clicks, you can kind of see if this is up my alley or not, right? And so I can tell, okay, this one's up my alley. So maybe it has a 3D tour, maybe it doesn't. But if I'm sending you, okay, Vinny, hey, I'm looking at stuff online. Here's my 5 or 6 addresses that I like. Kind of what is the next step, if I've identified a property, that is one that I would like to see more in depth or like to have you investigate for me, what happens next?
So what happens next is dissecting, again, the property. So we can go in person to kind of, like we have up here, Google Hangout, Facebook Messenger, or Zoom, and we can do it remotely. Now, yes, it is true that most people are going to see a property through pictures and say, oh, that's the property that I'm interested in, and that's the one I don't. You'll be surprised that probably about 10% or so of clients of mine will maybe say, I don't really like that property. Yet, the agent might not have taken the best pictures of that property, But because we've sold so many properties in San Diego County, we can usually tell if that property is better than it actually is advertised at. So what I'll do, sometimes I'll sneak in properties that you might have said no to and show you how the pictures and in person actually changes.
No, that's a good point. You bring that up. I'm actually working with a veteran buyer right now, and they really love this place, and they had me run payments on it, several times up front, and then they keep coming back to it, just a little bit outside their budget. So they're really thinking, it's like $100 more than what they wanted to spend. So they were just kind of stewing on it, but they really, really like the place. I was looking at the photos, and the photos didn't look good at all. And so I said, guys, this place must be something special. The photos aren't terrific. And they said, yeah, the photos, we wouldn't have even looked at this one. Our agent told us to go take a look at it. And we did, and we love it. The photos do it no justice at all. And by the way, there's no offers on that property right now, which is very rare in this marketplace, especially in that price point, $525. So they're writing an offer today. They actually already wrote it for under the list price with no competition because of the photos, to your point.
Yeah. So as long as we're on the same page, I might be able to see some properties, or my team might be able to see some properties that might not fit because of the pictures, but don't worry, we're not going to steer you wrong. So
nice.
So then the next question is, okay, well, how do we understand the area, understand the community? So look up schools and community. I'd say too, the bigger platforms that I tell my clients to look at is greatschools.org, and it's really simple. You put the address in there, it'll tell you the schools in that area. It'll give a ranking to them, 1 to 10. And then Spot Crime. Spot Crime is another platform. It shows all the violence or issues that happen in the community. Now, be warned, if you're going to look at that, first look at the area that you currently live in, because every area has some kind of issues that happen there. Drunken, disorderly, burglary, robbery. You might not think so, but they do. So first look in the area that you currently live in, then look in the area that you're thinking about.
See what
and then another simple one there, I don't have it up there, but Google Maps. It's really simple. Click through. You might see that a block away, it's next to a commercial landing yard or something like that, or a busy road, freeway. But Google Maps is very beneficial.
Yeah, do the satellite view.
So you got excited. We digitally found a property. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think this could happen. But you're working with a great team, so it did happen. We found this property, and now we want to put an offer in. So we digitally sign it. Now we use DocuSign, okay? So DocuSign will put together the locations of where you sign on it. And all you do, you put your name, your email on there, and then you're just going to click the button. Then it's going to take you to another spot.
Vinny. Hold the boat. Okay, hold on. I found a property that I like. All right, I like it, but I'm nervous, Vinny, because I haven't seen it physically yet. You've told me that it looks great, and I want to believe you. And it does seem like it's a great deal, but I'm nervous because of committing to this purchase of buying this home, without having seen it physically in person. So how do you help put me at ease when it comes to writing an offer? What protections do I have? How am I safe in going through with this process right here?
No, great question. So what we'll do before we put the offer in, and some people have an idea, okay, this is where I want to offer it at. And mind you, what they're asking for, just like what Derek was talking about, is not necessarily the price they're going to get. Sometimes they price it lower to get offers higher. Sometimes they price it too high, thinking the market's higher than it actually is. So we'll put comparables together and send those over to you, and we kind of dissect the properties that are comparable to that property, so you have a better understanding of where the property is actually at, okay, where that value is at. Now, in the offer, okay, you have contingencies. Okay, for the most part, in California, you're going to put contingencies in there. So you have the 3 biggest contingencies are going to be your investigation, which is generically 17 days. So you do your investigation, you look over their disclosures, their documents, and in 17 days, you have the ability to say yes or no. Okay, and also in that time, we have the time to do inspection of the property. So just because you're not at the property doesn't mean you can't have inspectors there, and we'll get there. Remember, you got to think, Derek is an A+ student, so he already knows where we're going on these next slides. All right, so but you have inspectors there. All right, so the inspector is going to assess the property. No property is perfect, but you want to make sure the property is perfect for you. So you're going to get a report from that inspector, and that inspector is going to tell you the what's wrong, what's not wrong. And during that window right there, we can make a negotiation with the seller, say, hey, take care of this, take care of that. And if for some reason there's no meeting in the minds, you can back out. The next one is the appraisal, generically 17 days. So the bank is going to also help you out to make sure the property is worth the price that you're in escrow on of it. And if it comes in less than that, we can ask the seller to reduce or, again, back out, okay, in that 70-day window. And then the last one is generically 21 days. 21 days is the loan, just because Derek approved you doesn't mean things can change. You might buy a Ferrari, the rates might have changed in the market. Whatever could have happened. Maybe if you're working with another lender out there, they might have not got all the paperwork. They might have realized that you had child support or whatever it might be. Yet, when you're working with Derek and myself, we're going to dissect every little aspect, anything that could possibly come up to make sure that when you fall in love with the property, you can afford the property. All right. And then after that 21-day window, that time frame between 21 and 30 days, you technically, if you try to back out, you could have the ability to lose that deposit. So that's generically how the contract's written. Time frames can be adjusted. That's something we'll dissect when we put the offer in.
Basically what you're saying is, when I make this offer, when I say, Vinny, I think this is the one, let's write it, let's see what happens, I'm technically not obligated really to anything yet. I'm in the clear, I'm safe. I still have plenty of time to investigate the property, the area, make sure that everything is what I think it is before this is really finalized and I'm obligated.
Yeah, you have 3 days to put a good faith deposit into escrow, which is generically 1%. It can be more, it can be less based off of how everything's negotiated. But yeah, you have protection in place if things aren't as you envision them. In some states, they do a lot of their inspections before they actually get their offer accepted. California is a little bit different. You have a lot of protections as long as you write a clean offer on the property, which we'll work together on. But you do have a lot of protections to back out in those timeframes.
Okay, good to know. Thank you, sir.
So we're going to virtually dissect the property and a counter offer. So once we get the offer that we want to put together, the seller could say, hey, you know what? I don't like these terms. I'm going to counter you back. It's a negotiation right there. And sometimes you can win the negotiation. Sometimes you can lose, but don't worry. We're going to protect you. So once we actually win that conversation and negotiation right there, you'll have protection in place. So if things pop up, you can back out if you need to.
And even though we're in like right now, as we were writing this, we're in a very strong seller's market still, in my opinion. And we usually are here in San Diego and Southern California in general. But the nice thing about, writing the offer and getting in contract, sometimes you may have to take terms that aren't exactly what you want to get the property that you want. But once you're in contract, you really hold the cards.
Yeah.
The seller is now off the market. Going back on the market is a lot of stigma associated with it. So even if they have multiple offers, those people are moving on to other properties. So in your 2 to 3 weeks, you're really sort of taking control of the transaction and the hand, if you will, of the positioning for the leverage of the negotiation. So negotiations aren't necessarily done when that initial offer gets accepted. So that's also something to keep in mind here.
Yeah. So you have 2 negotiations. You have the first one. You have the second one. Like Derek's saying, is when you're in escrow, the buyer has a lot more control. When you're on the front end of it, the seller has more control. And that's why when we list properties out there, we make sure that our clients are fully aware that we need to put as much protections in place, much teeth in place to protect them, because for the most part, as the RPA is written, there's more protections for the buyer than there is for the seller. And again, like Derek's talking about, we lean more towards that seller's market because of the shortage of inventory we currently have. We have, around 4,000, I think we might be up to 4,800 at this current time for single family detached in San Diego County. And to give you a reference point, last June, we were at about 7,800. So close to double amount of inventory. We had half, going the opposite direction, half of inventory in this current time. So we lean more towards that seller's market, even though we've swayed more towards a buyer's market off and on over the last year, but we've been so hard in the seller's market for the longest period of time. Okay, so escrow. So as you guys know, Escrow is a third-party entity that oversees the transaction. So they're also going to be involved. So in California, we have Escrow. We are an escrow state. So they're going to be involved to make sure that everything that we wrote in the contract, in that RPA, is going to be protected and carried out through the process. And they're also going to do digital signatures. Home inspector. Okay, like we talked about, we're going to have that home inspector assess the property. You don't need a home inspection, but you're buying a house remotely. This is going to be one of the bigger purchases. Please, let's go with the home inspector. Get an extra set of eyes on the property just to give that comfort level. Based on the property, appraisal can be waived in this current climate right now. Yet they're still going to assess the property, see what the pricing is of the property compared to other comparable properties that have sold. If you are doing a full cash purchase, you don't need an appraisal. If you're doing a loan, for the most part, you're going to get it, but it can be waived in this current climate. And then disclosures and documents. There's a lot of disclosures and documents that come through during the escrow process. I mean, for me, I say the two biggest ones, at least on the realtor side, is the seller property questionnaire and the transfer disclosure. Okay, the SPQ and the TDS. They're about 10 pages. That's where the seller puts everything they know about the property on those documents. A lot of the other documents are boilerplate, just to make sure that you're aware of buying a property in that community, this, and this. So you're gonna get a lot of disclosures. Don't get overwhelmed. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Derek.
100%. Yeah, that's what we're here for. So we want to make it aware that we're not just trying to, teach this and then send you on your way. We're here if you have questions, you want to initiate this process, you want to start seeing how things look. We're here for you. That's what we're here to do.
And the fun part about it is I know on the real estate side, there's new documents that come out, it seems like every couple of months. So if you have a question about something, I don't have the answer for you right after that because I don't know everything. I know a lot, but don't know everything. That if I don't have the question for you, I can research it, figure it out, so I have the answer for the next time. Congratulations, you own your home. Seems simple, right?
Yeah, that's a veteran couple right there that I helped here recently. And so again, just to reiterate, if you have questions about this process or, hey, how do those protections work exactly? Or can you go over this a little bit more detail? Feel free to comment below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, or you can contact Vinny or myself at the information on the screen. We're also very easy to Google. You can find our websites and everything pretty easily just by typing in our names and our license numbers, which are there on the screen for you. And I would like to sort of say in closing for my side, Vinny, that a lot of people don't really know where they stand. There's a lot of credit score apps out there that give bad information. People don't know really where they stand with their credit or what's possible from a financing perspective. I just want to make sure everyone knows that when you get an inquiry on your credit report for a mortgage, it is not something that is damaging to your credit score. This is really important. Inquiries in the credit scoring model is designed to help determine who is going to default. So the credit scoring model, the whole purpose of it is who is going to default soon. Where are their red flags? When people are applying for mortgages, they're not in dire financial need. Okay, they're not in a bad situation. It's actually a sign that things are going pretty well for them, or that they believe that things are going well for them and going to continue to go well for them. So they're looking to buy a home. Those inquiries do not hurt. And there's a lot of bad information online about that out there. And I've got proof for days that I can show you where inquiries do not hurt from a mortgage standpoint. Inquiries hurt you if you're doing a credit card inquiry and you're not getting it, and you're getting another credit card inquiry. The credit scoring model looks at that and goes, oh, that person's desperate. They need, they're likely to default soon because they're looking for credit quickly and not able to get it. So I want to make sure people know that, because that can be a hesitation for some people a lot of times, saying, well, I don't want to hurt my credit score. I want to wait until it's perfect. Well, if there is a problem, I can help you with that. So I've been a certified credit expert for 21 years. And so if there is something that we can do to improve your scores, we need to find out sooner rather than later. Sometimes those things can take a while. So it's always best to assess the situation as soon as possible so that we can make adjustments if we need to. And if we don't need to make adjustments, then great. You'll know what your budget is. You'll know what you can shop for, and you'll be in great shape to take the next step.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. And then I think the real estate side, people are always kind of, well, I looked on this website, it's this price, or I looked on this website, it's that price right there. There's a lot of false information that goes out there. Yes, everything is syndicated off of the multiple listing service, but if you have a particular question about your purchase, it doesn't hurt to call a trusted resource, a realtor like myself, to at least ask the question, what's this actually property worth? Is this property real? What's the HOA on it? Can I factor in that HOA into the purchase price? What does it say? There's never a bad question. You know what I mean? If I love when people ask me questions, because it shows that they trust me, and it shows that they want to learn. And if someone wants to learn about the process, my phone's always ready to pick up.
We'll teach them. We're both educators on that front, no question about it. And be careful what, looking at properties on some of these websites. I'll just say that rhyme with willow. Sometimes the information on there is bad. Sometimes you may see a property may look like a smoking deal. It may not actually be real. It could be something that's sold a long time ago or something like that. So it's always good to ask questions, confirm information. That's what we're here for. Vinny, thanks so much for making the time to do this with me today, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. All right. Contact us if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you guys soon.